Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley if you're new here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about my homeschooling brainstorming for next year. I am a mom to four, so next year I will have a third grader, a first grader, and a preschooler. So that's crazy. I also have a baby. He will be one next school year. You could probably hear him in the background. And so I have so many thoughts about what curriculum I want to use for next year, as I'm sure most of you guys probably do as well. I feel like this is the time when we all sit down and evaluate what's working. Is it going to be working for next year? And all of those types of things. So let's just hop right in. I will start with third grade. So I cannot believe that I'm going to have a third grader. So for third grade, I feel like third grade kind of feels kind of big. Up until this point, it felt like, I don't know, obviously increasingly more responsibility and all of that, but third grade feels even bigger. So for third grade, I was thinking about, let's start with math. So I don't remember if I touched on it in this video. I'll link above. I talked about like a mid-year math with confidence review for second grade. And I was starting to question if I wanted to switch to something else for next year because, like I said, I will have a third grader, a first grader, and a preschooler. And I just feel like, and as you'll see when I get into like our group subjects, I'm considering continuing using Sonlight, and I'm just trying to figure out, do I have enough time to do all of these curriculum? Because something that I realized this year was that I really need to pay attention to myself and kind of like make sure that I'm not putting too much on my own plate, because when I get overwhelmed, I'm obviously not a very good teacher. I get frustrated much easier, and I want our homeschool, as I'm sure we all do, to be like peaceful, obviously, as much as we can control that. Obviously there's going to be things like children's attitudes that we can't fully control, but as much as we can control, we want it to be a peaceful experience. So if I put too much on my plate, I know that I'm going to be frustrated easily, and I don't want that. But I also realized that right now, currently, I have a baby who wakes up in the middle of the night many times, and so I realized I had 1 week, this week actually, where he still woke up a lot, but somehow I was getting better sleep and I feel like a new person. So I'm realizing probably next year that I will have a bit more bandwidth. I could start doing school earlier with them, which will give me some more time, which perhaps will give me enough time to still do these curriculum that I like. As of right now, I do plan to continue with Math with Confidence. I feel like a lot of people don't talk about this on YouTube, but I have this, not fear, it's not a fear, but like this realization that if I switch curriculum, so I was looking into Christian light education, as a bunch of you guys have commented on that Math with Confidence video that you guys switched to, and that is the one that I looked into the most. And I really like the program. I think it looks really promising and all of that, but I would probably have to set him back to, I think, halfway through second grade, because that's when they start multiplication. And there's nothing wrong with that, of course. And especially if you feel like your math curriculum isn't suiting you, then of course, then it gives you the reason to do that. But because Math with Confidence is working for the most part, we do have to put in some Math Mammoth worksheets to really help with fluency, but I feel like most kids need help with fluency unless it's like a really intense curriculum that has a ton of practice. So I have thought more about Math with Confidence and realized that I genuinely really like the way that it breaks down different concepts, and I don't think I want to switch from it, is long story short, because there's also this level of having to learn a new curriculum. You have to get used to teaching it. Your student has to get used to learning in that way. And I think especially with Shane, like he has the same kind of personality that I do, and I don't love change, and I don't think he would really love having to change either. Like, and he really likes Math with Confidence as well. So that's what I'm thinking for now, but I guess things could change. Language arts also. So this I haven't fully decided. I go back and forth so often on this, as you, if you've been following me for a while, probably know. I have gone back and forth between The Good and the Beautiful and All About Reading pretty often, because I don't know if it's just the natural process of learning to read, and I'd love to hear from you if your child seemed to kind of struggle with certain points of reading and then you kind of questioned your curriculum to see if like, is this the problem or is this just a natural process of learning? And I go back and forth on that pretty often, where sometimes I think The Good and the Beautiful is the problem. I should just switch to All About Reading because that's much more systematic and slow and you don't move on until they are ready to move on, where The Good and the Beautiful sort of is like that, but it's just different and it's not as broken down. But the problem is, and I've really come to learn this over the years, is that I actually really love The Good and the Beautiful. I love how there's just no prep. Like I really love that. All About Reading, obviously, it has so many moving parts. I'm using it with my younger son right now. Oh, bless you. And I don't mind it because he really enjoys it. And of course I will do what I need to do, but I just love that The Good and the Beautiful is like, you just open it and it's a very simple lesson. And I do think they do a really good job with grammar. We're only just now starting into doing some more writing, so I don't have like feelings on their writing just yet. But so far I like how it is gentle. I think if I required too much of my son, he would resist a lot. And it's gentle, but it like is building on itself and it requires more and more of him as the year goes on. And so far I'm liking that. I do want to look into some other writing curriculum, because if I did go the route of going away from The Good and the Beautiful, I would like to see how they teach writing. I also just feel this burden of, if I pieced it all together, I'll feel like I'm missing something, and I don't know if that's an unnecessary burden or what. I've looked a little bit into learning language arts through literature, but I just feel like if I'm going to do an all-in-one curriculum, I think I'm just going to stick with The Good and the Beautiful, because I just genuinely like the types of activities they have for the kids. Every day is something different. It's engaging. Like, it keeps me engaged. I think it's fun. I don't love the literature as much, so but I don't think I don't like it enough that I wouldn't have him read it next year. I'm just going to do Sonlight readers on top of it like we did this year. So yeah, those are my thoughts for Shane. And then for Riley, Riley is actually, I haven't thought too much about first grade yet, because we just switched to All About Reading, I mentioned in my last video, and he really likes it. I keep asking him, especially because I'm used to doing The Good and the Beautiful with my older son, and that seems to fit his personality better. He really just wants to like go in, get done, and then go and play. And The Good and the Beautiful really helps with that because it's just simple and engaging, like I said, and easy. Not too easy, but like easy to do, I guess. My older son really didn't like the practice sheets. He just overwhelmed him. When he saw that many words on a page that he had to read, he just like kind of shut down on me, where my second son sees it as like a challenge and he's like excited to do it. He's super motivated by getting the sticker at the end of the lesson. He just really likes it, so we're sticking with that for now. So honestly, I would imagine we're gonna move into level 2 after, which we will. I don't know if we're gonna finish level 1 this year because we started it late, but he's moving through them pretty quick. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with him. I don't know if I'm gonna just take different activities out of The Good and the Beautiful to teach him gently grammar and writing. But if we do that for next year, I might do first language lessons with him. I have to look into that again. It's been a while since I looked at it. So yeah, we're kind of all over the place with language arts. Different kids, you know, obviously like different things. So it's kind of fun to have different curriculum with different kids. But that's my kindergarten / going into first grade. Oh, actually, I forgot his math. So for math, like I said, the whole thing about math, I think I'll probably just stick with math with confidence. Although, to be honest, so far I've done halfway through kindergarten, I've done halfway through second grade, and I've done all of first grade. First grade has been my least favorite. There's the most moving parts, but I do genuinely really like the depth that they get in this. Like, it really is teaching my son number sense. Like, he's able to do things in his head that I could never have done back then. Even now, I've told this to you guys before, I didn't learn the mental math things that he's learning, and it's even helping me with math now. So it's a really hard switch for me. I don't want to move on from something else. So unless something changes, that's likely what we'll do for math with him as well. So for my preschooler, my daughter has been absolutely begging me to do school with her lately. So I think I mentioned this again in my last update, is she is 3 right now. She turns 4 in September. So I decided to start gather round letters and numbers with her. I used that with both of my boys, and I really enjoy the program. I think that it's similar to The Good and the Beautiful in that each day is different. For the most part, they do have some repeat things, but I like that it just gently introduces different concepts like at this age. And she's so young right now that I mean, we have only done a week of it so far, and I kind of expected her not to love the animal part, and that seems to be true of what has happened. But so far, we're enjoying that. It's just something to do that doesn't overwhelm me. It's easy. I just take it out. We read through it. She does 3 worksheets, and then she's done. But come next year, I honestly haven't figured out what I'm going to do with her, obviously. Do you want to get down? I am probably going to do The Good and the Beautiful preschool with her at some point, but I kind of dropped the ball with the Gentle and Classical preschool, so I might try to interweave that in there in some sense as well, because I did enjoy the parts that we did. I want to get the books and all of that. But yeah, that's my thoughts for preschool. Let me know if you have any preschool programs that you really love, because I feel like preschool is kind of a tough one. I don't know. She's been begging me to learn to read though. It's adorable. So I'm excited for next year for her. And then for our group subjects. So here's the other thing that I kind of I'm not fully done thinking about it, I guess you could say, but it's another thing that I was considering changing. So we are doing the Sonlight K level right now, which is like a world history type situation. You're literally going through time as well. I think it's like around the world or something like that. And we are really enjoying it. I really love Sonlight. I love the idea of it. I am someone who wants to be more like literature-based curriculum, but the idea of using like Ambleside Online where I have to pick the books and all of that kind of overwhelms me. So I love that it gives you just like a grid of like, this is where you go, this is what you read. And I don't stay to it 100%, but it keeps me on track, because that's the problem. I'm either trying to do too much or not doing enough. And so it really keeps me on track, and I love that. I'm really thinking that we're going to do the next one up, because we are definitely going to do American history next year, because my boys have not been introduced to American history at all yet. And I'm super excited to do that. And I've just always really liked Sonlight, and I'm enjoying it while we're doing it. I just don't love the Bible for that level. It's like a read the Bible in a year type of thing, and they have you reading like 2 or 3 days at a time, and I don't love that idea. I don't know, something in my brain just doesn't like that. We loved the Bible this year, so I was considering maybe just reading that one again, or just kind of just using it and the other Bible and just being okay with it, or just putting into a different like Bible curriculum. So if you use a certain type of Bible curriculum for 3rd, 1st grade, that time frame, and you recommend something, please let me know, because I might pick something different for the Bible if we do use it. I really love the literature choices that Sonlight has picked this year, so I'm excited to use them for next year if we go with that. And I love that the history will be a little bit more in depth and all of that. But again, it's the time that I'm more concerned about. Like Sonlight, we read a lot of it at nighttime right now, because it's very hard. As you can hear, the baby is very noisy, and so it's hard to read when that's happening. And then I have a 3-year-old. She should be better next year, where I should be able to read a bit more out loud, but I don't want to overwhelm myself at the same time. So I was also looking into Notgrass history, because their history I've heard really good things about and looks really good. So those are my choices for history. Okay, so that leaves me with science, which again, from my last video, sorry I keep saying that, but I have been reevaluating science as well. I was going to make a whole video on this. I think I probably still will, but here's a little spoiler alert for you. We stopped doing Sonlight Science and we moved to the Good and the Beautiful. They have a free science, which is marine biology, which my oldest son says he wants to be a marine biologist. So we started that this week and we really enjoyed it. I think I like the format better than Sonlight Science. So I think we are going to switch to the Good and the Beautiful for next year, just do some unit studies. I never liked that idea because I kind of feel like you don't have time to go deeper as they get older because you're constantly switching to new topics and all that. And I know you could redo them, but something about that kind of makes me feel like you're missing things or you're not going deep enough. So I don't know if we'll do it forever, but I think for next year, that's likely what we're going to do. So I think that's all of our subjects. That's kind of my general scattered thoughts. Sorry, I was kind of trying to speak really fast because the baby is obviously making noise and I am trying to get through all of this while he is still somewhat okay. But I'd love to hear from you guys. What is something that you know you're gonna choose because it's worked so well for you? And then what is something that you are considering changing because you think either your circumstances or the curriculum isn't working for you? I'd love to hear from you guys. If you have any recommendations for me, please leave them below. Thank you so much for watching and don't forget to subscribe if you're new and I will see you in the next one.